Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you've had a great day. I've been extremely busy today. Extremely busy. If you are in the Zoom room, please find where your chat button is. And once you find your chat button, click where it says All Panelists. Then choose the option for all panelists and attendees. And please say hello. Let me know that you are here. All right, we got Christine and Melanie here. That's awesome. Thank you for being on the Shibby Show this morning, Melanie. I love it. I love it. And Melanie, I feel like we have another Melanie Franks as a member. That's why I said the other night, oh, longtime member. But I think we have another Melanie Franks. But glad to have you and Larry here. Hey, Christine, I'm glad you're here. If you are on Facebook, please take a second to say hello, just like Tammy did. Thank you, Tammy. And if you don't mind, give me a couple of hearts. Let me know you're there, folks. And if you have a chance, please click the share button. Do you know? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Melanie, okay. I got you. I got you now. Good. And Mandy, hey Mandy, I'm here. I'm finally getting better and getting ready to start after being a member for a month. Awesome, Mandy. I'm glad you're here, Mandy. Glad you're feeling better too. Yes, yes. Well, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're ready to get started because Shibboleth is the best thing that has ever happened to me, given besides Jesus. That has given me a way to actually manage my weight. And I showed a picture on Facebook the other day. Let me just tell y'all this on Facebook, I shared a picture of me in the airport. So this picture I'm going to show you. This is crazy, absolutely crazy. I have always known that if you don't watch what you eat, and if you don't have some sort of way to manage this, that it's going to get out of hand. So I've always kind of known that. Hey, Kanan, glad you're here from South Georgia. Tell everyone I said that they are going to love Shibboleth. Come on. That's what Kanan says. I love it. Kanan is encouraging me to tell y'all to get your membership. A membership is currently $69 for a lifetime. It is the least expensive amount of money you are ever going to spend on yourself for such a great value. So, let's see who else joined us. Hey, Vicki and Tamar and Kathy, thank y'all for joining me. So I'm going to tell you the story. So I've always kind of known that if I didn't do something, I would just keep getting out of control because it just does. Because culture certainly isn't telling us how to do it. So, hey, Vicki. Hey, Kathy. Thank y'all for saying hello. So back, I don't know what year it was, but anyway, some year I was sitting there watching Oprah. Hey, Polly, glad you're here with me. I was sitting there watching Oprah one day, eating a bag of peanut M&Ms. It did happen to be, oh, thank you, Mandy. Thank you. That made my night. Thank you. It made me, it was Halloween, actually. It was Halloween, and I was sitting there. It was in the afternoon. I was eating a bag of peanut M&Ms. And Dr. Oz came on there. And he started talking about healthy things in his book, that book that was called You on a Diet. Well, I didn't want to be on a diet, but the way that he explained it, was like, this isn't really diet. This is just helpful information. So I bought the book. And I mean, I have read that book. I've marked that book with highlighters and pens and dog-eared pages. That book was poured over. And I started doing what that book said. Basically, he was talking about 5 things that you shouldn't have in the foods that you eat. And so I started looking at labels a little bit more at that time and everything. And I lost 15 pounds and I was excited about those 15 pounds. But I'm telling you, I had kind of a hard time keeping that 15 pounds off because there was no management system to go along with it. So I was trying to buy higher quality of foods, but I still didn't know about combining foods, and I still didn't know about how much I should not eat in a day, how much I should and shouldn't eat in a day. I didn't know these things, and he didn't really go over that. Okay, so of course, those 15 pounds came back. And then a few years later, somebody was offering a book for free. And I bought a book, and then I set it on my desk and I didn't read it. And I actually lost track of it because my desk just stuff piled up on my desk. Then one day, and I remember it was in the summer, one day I cleaned off my desk and there was this book. And I said, I'm going to read this book. So I went outside, started reading this book. And again, I dog-eared pages. I've since thrown that book away. Wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't. Because I now show my stack of books sometimes because I'm an educator. I always thought there had to be some secret to this thing. And so I would read, and I knew diets didn't work, but I would read things and I would say, okay, in one of these books, there's going to be the answer, the secret. And so that one book, I lost 40 pounds applying that, but it was so hard to sustain. I mean, it was so hard to sustain. So let me just show you how diligent I am. And if I was being this diligent then and trying to sustain something then, this is me at the airport. And do you see all the security around me? That's because I had packed all of my, this thing was all perishable foods, okay? And I packed all my perishable foods to go on a trip to Texas because I knew that if I could get my food there, then I can put it in the hotel room refrigerator, eat on it all week, and then I wouldn't have all that food to bring back with me because I would have already eaten it. Well, this I got pulled over because they thought, what, this is the weirdest stuff. This is so weird. And it turns out I had all those three guards go through my bag, and it was because all of the ice packs that I had in there. And ice packs look like they turn into liquid, and they don't want you to have liquid on the airplane. And I thought, oh my goodness, they're going to make me throw this out. Thankfully, they didn't, because that was a lot of money in there for me to eat that week. And I'm diligent. Okay, so we're talking. You get somebody like me who is going to put forth every single bit of effort possible towards something, and I can't keep up with it, then it's not sustainable. Okay, I'm telling you, it's not. Shibboleth, I don't know why I'm going to show y'all that again. Shibboleth is sustainable. It is. So finally, I have found the secret to weight loss, and I could not be more excited to teach it to you. I feel like as an educator, me as an educator, I feel like this is something that we should have been teaching children a long, long time ago. Nobody ever sits and looks at a child and says, chicken is a lean protein. Broccoli is a fibrous carb. They don't do that, but they will pour over all these little nursery rhymes and all these other things. But there could be nothing more foundational than what you eat to take care of yourself. So because we are not offered up this information, and the culture and the world that we live in tells us that we've got to be like having fun all the time, and if you're not out with the candy bars and the cake things, and you have the cupcakes and all the things, if you don't have all the things, then you're not living a good life, which is not true. Those people are trying to sell you things. That's why they're always pushing all of that. So it's difficult. I mean, it's difficult. So now as adults, when we get to a spot where we've got excess weight, then we have to decide, yep, I'm going to do something about this. And we just have to decide to stick with it. And if we've got 49 or 50 years of habits to change, we got to use the management system that Shibboleth is to help us change those. So anyway, thank y'all for letting me give that little bit of information. If somebody does want to join right now, we still have some memberships left. We had 1,000 memberships left at $69 for a lifetime. And currently we've got 538 left. Okay, so if anybody wants to join, we're going to go until that number is 0. So we got 538 left. You can go to shibbolethdeals.com and you can get your membership. where it asks you how you heard about Shibboleth, please type in the name of the person that you heard about Shibboleth from. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started tonight. Tonight, we are going to go over lap 4. Now, lap 4 is a fun lap, okay? See, in Shibboleth, there's so many different places to get your meals or find your foods. And over a course of a lifetime, you're going to have simple meals. You're going to have more elaborate meals. Whether you're on Shibboleth or not on Shibboleth, you tend to have simple meals or elaborate meals, or somewhere in between. It's just going to happen. Same thing with Shibboleth. I find that the simpler the meal, the better for me personally, because I'm pretty busy. But in but let's say you come to a weekend, you're like, you know what, let me spice this up. The recipe library is where you want to go to find some things out. All right, now I'm going to skip around in this lap today. I want to show us something first, and then I'm going to go back up to the recipe library. But just to remind you how this page works, this is a little tutorial video. If you wanted to watch it in addition to tonight, if you need to go back and just refamiliarize yourself with something, you can do that. I'm going to come right down here to this second task today. I'm going to hover my mouse over the task. Did you see that black box that pops up? That black box is the instructions for how to do that task, why you're doing that task, if there's anything special I want you to know about why you're doing that task, okay? And so we're going to create a grocery list in the Resources, Foods, and Recipes tab. So in order to add foods to a grocery list, the grocery list must be created first. The reason I want you to know this is so that you can create the grocery list first, because if you go to the recipe library or the food library and you try to add something and there's no list, it's going to look like something is going wrong. Well, there's nothing going wrong. There's just no list there that to appear in a drop-down menu for you to choose. So you have to choose the list first. So if you shop at multiple stores, this is a good time to create a grocery list for each store. So we're going to go ahead and click there. Now, when you are no longer in the fast track curriculum, because the fast track is really just a curriculum to walk you through learning the website. But once you're out of fast track and you've finished every task in every lap of fast track, when you want to go to the grocery store stuff or the food library or the recipe library, you're going to find all of that right here in this green tab called Resources, Foods, and Recipes. Okay, but I clicked on that link in Fast Track and it brought me to my grocery lists page. And you can see I've created all of those grocery lists. Look at this. I even have a grocery list called Might Want to Try. Because if I'm playing around in the food library and I see something that I've never eaten before, but I might want to try it, I go ahead and add it to my Might Want to Try grocery list. Then when I'm in the grocery store, I can pull up my Might Want to Try grocery list and I can buy something new. But it's not urgent. It's not urgent. You know what I mean? So it's just something, I might want to try that. And so I put that on my list there. And then look, I have all the ice creams in the Shibboleth food library. I have that in a link. That way, if I go to the store, I could look up ice creams, but I just put them here. I don't know. I was playing around and having fun one day. And then I came down here and I made a grocery list for specific recipes. Yes, I can just pull up the recipe too, but I was playing. I just wanted to see all the things that it could do. Okay, so to create a new grocery list, you click Add Grocery List, you pick a date, and you put a name of a grocery store. Okay. And then I'm also going to add one. I'm going to add one called Shibboleth, because some things are just bought at the Shibboleth store. Now, the things that we carry at the Shibboleth store are things that we found that we like, that fill those voids in our life. I can't spell Shibboleth tonight. Those things that fill a void in our life, but they aren't necessarily easily found out in grocery stores. And so we have them in our store for convenience purposes. So That's what we carry there. But nobody needs the stuff that comes from our store. Those are just things that we like. Everything that you need comes from the grocery store. Okay. My iPad is going to die up there, so it's on 10% battery. But that's what I had to click off so I can see people commenting on there. Okay, so I created those grocery lists. So now that I've created that grocery list, I'm simply going to check that box right there, okay? You just keep that box checked. Now, let's go over into the recipe library. We're going to search the recipe library for some favorites. This is a database built by our Shibboleth family. As you are exploring, please heart each recipe you think you might like to try. Hearting the recipe adds it to your personal favorites, which can be found in your My Journal tab or in the My Favorites tab in the recipe library. So that's actually found in two places. Now, the reason I say to heart things that you might like to try is because sometimes you think, I'll be able to remember that one. Yep, I'm going to go back to that one in the future. Let me just tell you, we don't remember. So go ahead and heart it because it will put it into your favorites and it'll be much easier to find. And then if you make the recipe and then you end up not liking it, you can unheart it and it will move it out of your favorites, okay? So let's go ahead and click here. And here's the awesome recipe library. I kind of like to call this, now that Julie Marandino termed it this, our cookbook. This is our cookbook. Okay, let's see. Tamar, I live in a very small town and our Walmart and Ingles have very few items. So the store is a lifesaver. That's awesome. That's awesome, Tamar. And if you come right here, if you hover over each picture, like this is Carb Quick banana bread. That sounds good. We might have to click on that one. This says Baja fish tacos. This one is chive balsamic vinaigrette, Japanese rice rolls. Okay. So, but here, these pictures are just kind of to pique your interest. Let's see how yummy that is. And look, it's a Shibboleth approved food that looks delicious. But I want you to know these pictures change. Every single time you come back to the recipe library, these pictures change. So if you happen to be looking at these pictures and you think, well, I want to try this, I highly suggest that you just either take a screenshot or jot down the name of that particular thing, because then you can search for it in the search bar. But when you come back to this recipe page, these pictures are going to change and it won't be the same thing. So I just like to explain that to people up front that these, oh, thank you, Diane, that these are dynamic pictures. Okay. And look, I like, ooh, honey chicken meatloaf. That sounds good. Okay. So see, I've got to write some things down tonight myself because I want to look up that Carb Quick. Honey chicken meatloaf. Okay. Now, do you see right here where it says filters? If we click on filters, it's going to bring up the recipe library, but these filters are going to be at the top. So if you want to look at foods that we've kind of called cooking for 1 to 2 people, you can click there. Cooking for the family, you can click there. Crock pot, just a few ingredients and no bake. Now, Tamar, I wanted to mention something to you. Over here on the right-hand side, do you see how, you know how a cookbook is broken down into sections? Well, there's your sections right there. But here's one, Tamar, called 99% of ingredients come from Walmart. That might be a really good one for you too. Now, right here, I'm in the recipe library. If I wanted to see which recipes are the best of the best for weight loss, maybe I take this little ball, scroll down, and I'm going to choose -1 to -3, and then I'm going to hit set. And now it's going to filter out all the recipes that are 0 to a +3. So now I've got all those recipes listed. Now, let's say that I want them to be in order because as you can see how that's a -2 weight loss meter recipe. This is a -2, -2, -2. There's a -1, -2, -1, -3. So you can see they're not in order. So if you click in this box, the weight loss meter, it will reorder everything and you can kind of see what's the best of the best for weight loss. Now we've got the best of the best. This one, unstuffed cabbage rolls. It's a main dish. And look at that. 975 people have marked that they like this, and it gets a 4.9 rating. So that might be a good one to try. When you're looking at the recipe library, things that have a lot of likes, that does mean that members came back into the website and had to say, I like that one. So these might be really good ones to try. So you might want to click right there, and then you can heart it. Okay, and watch. Did you see that come up to 976? Once you have eaten this, we would love for you to come back in here and rate that. You can even print the recipe. I like to print them, 3-hole punch them, and put them in a binder in my kitchen. So I do that. This is a -3 on the weight loss meter. So this shows up just like in the food library. So let's kind of scroll down and have a look. So it gives you the ingredients here. This website is so educational in itself because there's layer after layer of reminding you of what everything is. Okay. So for example, when you look right here, it doesn't just say 1.5 to 2 pounds of 96% lean ground beef or turkey. It also links it. So if you were unfamiliar with an item, then you can click there. You can click and you can look at it and you can read more about it. So this is such a great educational tool. Okay, so now we've got all of these items here. It gives us our directions. It gives us our serving notes, 1.5 cups for women, 2 cups for men. Category 1 + 2 + C. Now what that means is this is a lean protein plus a fibrous carb plus a condiment. This makes several servings. With a family of 5. We usually have enough for a couple of meals, and then we have some leftovers. And then if you come down here, you can read comments. I do suggest that you read comments about the recipes, because if something is not quite right, or if somebody felt it was too salty or something like that, then you could read that. And if you know, well, we don't like a lot of salt here, in my house, then you can do that. You can kind of know, oh, maybe I should cut back on that. And I'm not saying that is about this one. I'm just saying that I have read that before, but I wish that I had read the comments before I made it, because I made it just as it was said. This one recipe was way too salty. And when I came back in there, if I had just read the comments, I would have seen that. So I do highly suggest that you read some comments about that. And look how many people have commented about this one. So that's really good. And you can even add your own comment. That's funny, Tamar. Okay, so right here, if you think, I want to make this, do you see right here? Add to grocery list. So we're going to click add to grocery list. I'm going to choose the Kroger grocery list and click add. So it popped everything over into that list. Okay, so I've come back to the recipe library. Do you see how the pictures have changed, haven't they? The pictures have changed. So those all look good too. But I wanted to continue to go over this main page of the recipe library a little bit. Now, remember, you can still use your filters for the weight loss meter and crock pot meals and all that kind of stuff. But see how we've got our sections here? Here's your sections. If you want to go straight to a section, you can click one of these. But if you just kind of want to kind of peruse the section, you can go, okay, appetizer, artichoke and spinach dip, asparagus roll up, avocado cashew dip. You can just kind of read down through those. Let's just kind of scroll down and let's look at this. Let me see. Cheese stuffed corn dogs. That sounds good. Cheesy cauliflower biscuits, cheesy spinach muffins. Let's click on cheesy spinach muffins. Okay, look, somebody's even given us pictures too. And then there's your list of things. Let's see, we got cheddar cheese, fat-free cheddar cheese, Kroger Carb Master, MCT oil, Carb Quick, eggs, whole eggs, tomatoes. You could probably leave those out if you don't like them. I don't like tomatoes, so that's why I said that. If you like them, please use them. Frozen spinach, fat-free feta, black pepper, Pam, sea salt, and sprigs of thyme. So if that sounds good to you, oh, like I was just reading these comments down there. It says, I see milk in the directions, but not in the ingredients. So somebody must have gone back and fixed that based on the fact that somebody read that and we needed to edit that. So this is another great thing. So that's really cool. Let's say that we want to add this to a grocery list. We can simply do that. Now, look, this is a -1 on the weight loss meter. So it's good. It's good. And you can use it, no problem. But I just like people to know what that means. This weight loss meter is really another way to categorize foods. When you're making a recipe, it's multiple categories put together, and so that number gives you a way to categorize it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the recipe library. Look, those pictures have changed again. I actually want to look up bread pudding because I was at the beach with some Shibboleth people and my friend Jan made the bread pudding and it is absolutely delicious. And I meant to come in here and mark it. So I'm going to mark that as a favorite. I'm going to add this to my grocery list because I know I want to make that. Okay, it's a 0 on the weight loss meter. So you kind of have to know, not going to help you, not going to hurt you. But we can see it's got bread in it, water, vanilla protein powder, ghee butter, sugar substitute, Walden Farms, calorie-free pancake syrup, egg whites, cinnamon, and 0-calorie cooking spray. And then serving size up to a quarter of the recipe. That is not bad at all. Somebody wrote, this is delicious. Okay, so I added that to my grocery list already. I'm pretty sure. Did I? I can't remember. We'll just add it again. And then I can print that out and put it in my binder. And over here on the right-hand side, you see where it says recently added. Recently added is a great place to look and see what has been the most recently added things. Maybe you are a serious peruser of the recipe library and you kind of know what's in there. It's really good to come and check the recently added stuff. Okay, so now we've added some things to the recipe library. Once you heart these things, if you want to see them, do you see right there where it says my favorites? You can click right there and a list of the favorites that you've hearted will come up. And let's see. Let's say I want to add, I know I love this best breakfast casserole. Let's just say I want to add that to my Kroger list because once I make that, I eat on that for several mornings and it is really, really good. Okay, one last thing I want to show you on this page. Do you see where it says add new recipe right here? If you want to add a new recipe, you can click that and fill out the information. And those steps that are written in there come from our members, and we do try to do our best to make sure the steps are right. But if they're not, then we love the feedback so we can correct anything that's not quite right. But we'll look at it and make sure that it's tweaked to work. But we would like for you to put the recipe in there in the way that you think it would work, okay? Because that's part of thinking through the process, okay? So you can do the add new recipe right there. But if you just want to see if a food would be approved, what you do with that is you do that in the Facebook group. But if you want a recipe, you do it right here. All right, so once you've played around in the recipe library a bit and you're familiar with that and you know we have one, you know where to find it right up here after you're finished with Fast Track, you just come and simply check that box off right there, okay? All right, so now we're going to add a food library to the grocery list. Okay, so we've already done this part, add a recipe to the grocery list. We kind of did that when we were exploring the recipe library. But I do want to read this black box to you. This is so cool. Each recipe required ingredient can be added to the grocery list with a click of a button, just like I was doing. Once the recipe has been opened, click the green tab to add that. So I just want you to know it's everything that you popped in there. Okay, let's go to the food library. If we click here, or let's read the black box. For practice, Pick any food item from the food library and add it to one of your grocery lists. Adding a food item to a grocery list can be done in 2 places. So it's only done in one place on the recipe, inside the recipe once you've opened it. But for the food library, it can be done at the end of the listing of the item or once you've opened it. So we're going to click here. We're coming over here to the food library. Let's say that I really need to pick up some meal replacements. I'm going to click meal replacements. Okay, so it's going to generate a list of meal replacements. And let's just say that I want to get some AHS fettuccine, but that comes from the Shibboleth store. So if I come right here, that's where I can click Shibboleth. Boom, I've got that. I really like these pancakes. I eat them quite a bit. I know I don't even need to open those. Click that, get them from the Shibboleth store. Okay, but let's say that I'm looking through here and I'm new like you are. You click on the pancakes because they sound interesting. Hey, pancakes sound good. Let's have a look. You can click there and you can read what categories they're in. Some things are in multiple categories. That just means they can be used different ways. So this can be used as a snack, a meal replacement, or a perfect pairing item. Well, when something is in those types of categories, then you got to come down and read the description. So this says 1 to 2 packages as an approved portion. See in the description. This is a -3 on the weight loss meter. I've already taken the time to give it 5 stars. And to find it in our store, you can click right there. Let me click right there real quick. And then you come down here, there's 7 packages per box. We got 24 in stock. Let me see. I want to get 2 packages of that. Click add to cart, and it has added it to my cart. Yesterday, I added AHS Cinnamon Crisp to my cart, so I'm getting my cart prepared and ready. Anything $30 or more ships for free. Well, I got to find where I was. I'm going to click on breads this time just for fun of it. But if you see the green button in there, it means that that you can buy it in our store. But if you see a red button, that means that if we don't have it, you can go through there to get it on Amazon, and it helps us out a little bit. Okay, so breads. I'm going to make the breads be the best of the best. I'm going to do -2, -3 first, and I'm going to see what I come up with. Okay. Yeah, so it made my list much smaller, but it's good to have a smaller list, especially if you're picking from the best of the best. And then what I did in the very beginning was I just kind of scanned for brand names that I already knew and were familiar with. And okay, Joseph's. I really like all of the Joseph's products there. And then let's see, there's Kroger Carbmaster Classic White Bread. Um, La Tortilla Factory, the La Banderita tortillas. So, I come down here and I really like the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber tortilla. I love the Shibboleth High Protein Brown Bread. Let's say we want to add that to the Shibboleth store. And then I'm not really familiar with those other brand names, but see, someone has said, hey, can you look at the Thin Slim Foods? And I'm not sure where to buy this. But if I was curious, I can click on that item. I can scroll down here and see if somebody told me where to buy it. Somebody has taken the time to go in here and tell us that we can find this at Food City. So you would just go in and see if it's at your Food City. So let's just say we want to add this to our grocery list. Now, I'm just clicking Kroger just because. Okay, so we're going to move back out of this. I want to show you something else, especially for Tamar. Okay, we click right here on this green button, Resources, Foods, and Recipes. If you come down here to where it says Grocery Store Search and click there, if you come down to, she mentioned that she has an Ingalls. We come here to Ingalls. Ingalls people have told us, Shibboleth hadn't gone around and checked all this out, but people have told us that there's 639 approved items at Ingalls. Now, I'm not saying they're all at your Ingalls, but it would help you to see this list. So let's click on this list. And right underneath here are all of the items that are listed. So you can kind of scroll through there and read the different things and see if you want to try to buy any of those things. If you think, okay, I want G. Hughes sugar-free ketchup, okay, you could click there and you could click on add it to grocery list, and then let's add it to my Ingalls grocery list, that type of thing. So that might be a good place too, Tamar, to eventually just kind of like, okay, I'm going to try to find these few things in the grocery store this time, or that. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Kim. Y'all, Kim Obermeyer is on here. And guess who she is? She is our food guru. Thank you. And she says, you're such a great teacher. Thank you. That is quite the compliment, Kim. Thank you. If all new members would watch your Fast Track webinars, they would have a much easier time starting. I can't read, but I can teach. I love how you cover everything hard. Thank you, Kim. I really, really, really appreciate that, Kim. Thank you. So right now, we're going to go back to Fast Track. You're welcome. You're welcome. We're going to go back to Fast Track. And then once you've taken the time to add a few foods to the food library, you're just going to come over here and check this list out. I mean, check the box. And I'm not going to do this one because we've already added recipes when we were exploring. Okay, so we really should have all 4 checked tonight. But now, y'all don't just check them for the sake of checking them. You check them once you've taken the time to do them. I am a strict teacher too. But the last thing on this list says, each grocery list can be customized before going shopping. When a full recipe is added to the grocery list, it adds every item needed. You may already have some staples at home. When you look at your grocery list, you can edit the items you do not need to purchase at the store. Notice how each item in the grocery list is listed by category. Isn't that amazing? So remember how I was showing you in the food library? I mean, the recipe library. Let's go back to the recipe library. I want to look up that meatloaf. That honey meatloaf? Because that one sounded really good. The honey chicken meatloaf. Never had a chicken meatloaf. Okay, now did you notice it did not pull up with meatloaf? So I re-put something in because I wrote down honey chicken. And there it is. Oh, and meatloaf was 2 words there. So that's why you don't just quit after typing in one thing. Try something different. Okay, honey chicken meatloaf. So we've got our honey chicken meatloaf here, and I do want to try that. So I'm going to add that to my Kroger list. But do you see how right here, there's another layer of learning. When you read this fat-free, come over here, you see it's a category 1. Everything that this website does reinforces things over and over and over, which is brilliant that it does this. And you can click on these and it goes right to the food library. It is amazing. Awesome, Kim. Thank you. Thank you. So let's go back to the Fast Track page. And now we're going to check out our created grocery list. Okay, so I added things to the Kroger grocery list. And look at that. It put everything into its own category. So if you get home and you're still questioning and wondering, and you're like, okay, that was in my lean protein category, that's in my fibrous carb category, and so forth. But what I like to do is I'll read through here. And if it says all whites, liquid egg whites, it could be any egg whites, okay? It doesn't have to be the all whites, liquid egg whites. So you could get just egg whites. And let's just say I'm reading through here and I'm like, okay, I need all of that. But let's say we come over here to condiments and you say, oh, okay, I already have these Walden Farms things at home. You can just click the minus button, that red minus button, and it will remove them from your list. Okay, which is good. We need these freebies, and there's the Max Muscle vanilla protein powder that you need for that bread pudding recipe. Let's say I already have MCT oil at home. I could take that off. There's salt. I probably already have salt at home. You know, see what I'm saying? You can customize this. So once you're over here into this grocery list and you think, wait a minute, I added all kinds of stuff, but I need to add something else. When you click add grocery items, it pops you over into the food library. You search for the item and add it to the list. That's how that works. If I want to print my grocery list, I just simply hit print like that. But one of the things that I like to do, I don't know if you're like me, but when I go to the grocery store, I like to mark through my items so that it narrows down my little search when I'm in the grocery store. Well, I have on my phone a folder for Shibboleth, and I have a shortcut to grocery lists. So I just picked the shortcut. It pulled up immediately. Do y'all see how it pulled up my grocery lists there? And now if I click on my Kroger grocery list, it pulls up that list we're looking at right there. So let's say I'm in the grocery store and I have picked up egg whites. All I have to do is hit that and remove it. And as I'm walking through the store, my little list is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, that's only something that you really want to do if when you come home, you don't ever want to use that Kroger list again. Okay. You don't want to take them off your list if you think you might use that Kroger list again or that particular list again. But I like for things to disappear. It helps me shop more efficiently. So I like to do that. Do y'all have any questions about what we have gone over tonight? So tonight, we played around in the recipe library. We created a grocery list. We added a food from the food library to the grocery list. We added recipes to the grocery list, and then we checked out our grocery list. So I hope that y'all enjoy those tools that you have at your disposal. And when you are no longer in Fast Track, you're going to be accessing that through this green resources, foods, and recipes tab. Yay, Diane. I'm so glad that you did come on. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you can see what I'm talking about every step and every lap of Fast Track. That's awesome. Okay. Well, we're going to hop off. Oh, you know what? Let me show her one more thing. Tonight, Jason is doing the How I Overcame Food Addiction and Lost Weight webinar. And to register, all of our members should register through this online webinars tab because you get your badge number increases, okay, if you like these digital badges. Some people don't desire them at all, and you don't have to, but if you like them, then this is the best ways to get them. Come over here to How I Overcame Food Addiction and Lost Weight, register. Then you really only need to register once. It's the same link every night. So if you go to your email, you can just log in through your original email, but it does send out a reminder about an hour ahead of time. So if you go into your email, just join right there. So if you spend at least 20 minutes or more in that webinar, then you get your number increased on your badge. Okay. And the reason it's great to go those two things. One, please invite your friends to hear what Jason is saying, because it may inspire them to join. And right now it's an amazing, amazing deal. I think the price of Shibboleth is always amazing, but now it's crazy amazing. And then number two, watching these webinars at night helps keep us focused. There is a lot of focus required. And I know people in this world and in this life had a lot of distractions, Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Diane. a lot of distractions going on, and we have to have that focus, that place to focus. So y'all been great, thank you, and I will see you in the morning for the Shibby show, and back tomorrow night for our 7:30 p.m. Eastern time fast track webinar. Y'all have a great night, and Kim, thank you for being here with me. I appreciate it. Bye everybody.